In 1943, on the vast plains near a quiet Russian city called Kursk, the largest tank battle in history was fought. It was a clash of titans, steel against steel, that would ultimately seal the fate of Nazi Germany on the Eastern Front. 80 years later, the same region is once again a symbol of something bigger. It's not just a battlefield. It's a pattern, a blueprint for conflict that echoes through time. Because the story of Kursk isn't just history, it's a warning. In the summer of 1943, Hitler launched Operation Citadel. It was a desperate, all-or-nothing gamble to break the back of the Soviet Red Army. The German strategy was built on speed, shock, and overwhelming force, the blitzkrieg that had conquered Europe. But the Soviets knew it was coming. They built defenses in depth, layer upon layer of minefields, anti-tank guns, and trenches stretching for hundreds of miles. They absorbed the initial shock, slowed the German advance, and turned the invaders' momentum into a catastrophic disaster. The German panzers, once the symbol of unstoppable power, were bled dry in the fields of Kursk. This was the moment the war on the Eastern Front stopped being about a German victory and started being about their survival. And that reveals the first pattern. Great powers often fight their most brutal wars not when they are strongest, but when they feel the ground shifting beneath them. It's the desperate struggle against decline that fuels the greatest conflicts. For Russia, Kursk is not just a battle, it's a foundational myth. It's a story of national resilience, of enduring unimaginable hardship and sacrifice to ultimately triumph. The battle represents the idea that Russia doesn't win by being faster or smarter, but by outlasting its enemies, grinding them down through sheer will and endurance. This mindset didn't fade away with the end of the Second World War. It solidified, becoming a core part of the national identity and military doctrine. So when modern Russia looks at its neighbors, particularly Ukraine, it doesn't just see another country. It sees a front line in what it perceives as a centuries-old struggle over its borders, its sphere of influence, and its very survival. The ghost of Kursk looms large, framing the present conflict not as a new war, but as the continuation of an old one. The strategies of deep defense, attrition, and weathering the storm are not just historical lessons. They are living principles. Look at the initial phase of the war in Ukraine in 2022. Many observers, and perhaps even the planners themselves, expected a quick, decisive conflict. A modern-day blitzkrieg. Instead, the war quickly bogged down into a grinding, brutal conflict defined by trenches, artillery duels, and agonizingly slow advances. The fight became less about rapid maneuvers and more about sheer endurance. Sound familiar? Just like at Kursk, the battlefield transformed from a contest of speed into a test of will. History shows us something deeply uncomfortable. The longer a war drags on, the less it becomes about achieving specific strategic objectives. It morphs into a fight for identity, for national pride, and for survival itself. The goals become existential. It's no longer about taking a city. It's about proving you cannot be broken. This is the Kursk lens, where victory is measured not in territory gained, but in the enemy's exhaustion. Empires and great powers don't repeat their wars by accident. They are driven into these cycles by forces that outlive any single leader or government. The institutions, the deep-seated national fears, and the powerful founding myths survive for generations, shaping decisions in ways that leaders themselves may not even fully recognize. Post-World War I, Germany was haunted by its defeat, a national trauma that fueled the rise of Nazism and the desperate gamble of the Second World War. In the same way, modern Russia is profoundly shaped by its experience in the Second World War, what it calls the Great Patriotic War. The lesson of Kursk isn't that battles and strategies repeat exactly. The tanks are different, the technology has evolved. The true lesson is that the underlying reasons wars are fought, fear of encirclement, the pursuit of security, the myths of national destiny, almost never change. The past isn't dead. It's not even past. It's a script that nations unconsciously follow. Kursk tells us something that history keeps whispering if we're willing to listen. The world doesn't move forward in a straight, predictable line of progress. It often moves in cycles, in circles of conflict and resolution, of peace and war. Nations are trapped by their own stories, their own triumphs, and their own traumas. And when those circles begin to tighten, when old fears meet new crises, conflict inevitably follows. The fields of Kursk, once soaked in blood 80 years ago, are a stark reminder that the wars of the past are never truly over. They are simply waiting for their turn to be fought again. Thank you for watching.
Your support keeps Timeless Hub growing. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.